Life is tough in Zimbabwe. Bread lines are a common sight, and butcher shops like this one often have no meat to sell, just cauliflower. Zimbabwean journalist Robyn Curnow told us about the desperate situation in his country.
It's quite terrible. It's difficult to get basic food commodities. Many people are having to go into neighboring countries, particularly South Africa and Botswana, to buy flour, sugar, and even cooking oil. So if you can't find it on the shelves in urban centers, what more in rural areas?
In the remote areas, families like this one try to make their own bread, a tasteless mixture of maize meal, very little flour, and cooking oil, if they have it. It is their only meal of the day. From food to fuel, Zimbabweans say life is a constant struggle to find basic necessities. But it hasn't always been like this. Zimbabwe was once viewed as Southern Africa's breadbasket, but the country's economy has now become one of the world's worst. Zimbabwe's downward economic spiral began in earnest in 2000, when President Robert Mugabe ordered the seizure of commercially owned white farms, eventually turning some of the land over to insiders and cronies. Food production and agricultural exports dropped drastically. Now the economy is blighted by hyperinflation and joblessness. The government denies mismanagement and blames the country's economic woes on the West. The Zimbabwean ambassador to South Africa, Simon Kaya Moyo, spoke to us at his residence in Pretoria. Does Zimbabwe and does the government take responsibility for the economic crisis there?
Of course, you know it. You know very well who's responsible. You know that very well.
Who are you blaming, sir?
Of course, you know they have sanctions, comprehensive sanctions.
Targeted sanctions at the elite.
There are no targeted sanctions when we have no lines of credit. That's not targeting.
The government has introduced measures to try and stem the country's decline. It keeps on printing more money in higher denominations. The latest is a $10 million bill. Also, there are strict price controls. Many business people face arrest for pricing goods above levels set by the government. And now the government has passed a bill that forces internationally owned businesses to hand over controlling interests in their operations to black Zimbabweans. But Zimbabwe's economy remains in freefall, and for so many, life is a daily struggle. Robyn Curnow, CNN, Johannesburg, South Africa.